pictures of the knife, and I'll close with this and then open it up for questions. Our prayers are certainly with the woman that we were forced to shoot. It is that's the hardest thing any of us can do, is make a decision to fire at somebody else. And so our deputy will be on administrative leave, and will eventually return back to work.
Just to clarify, the bolo, that was not wanted for a crime, it was wanted because she was a missing woman.
Right, the question is, the initial bolo was for a missing and endangered woman. The family said that actually the last time they saw her was late afternoon yesterday. I think ostensibly she was going with some friends to get a drink or something. And so from late yesterday afternoon, I'll get you the times exactly, sometime between 3 and 5, she says she's going out with a friend. Then the family calls a friend and said, hey, she never came home. The friend says, well, I never went with her. So the next day, which is the time I gave you earlier, they call in a missing and endangered person. She has a fairly extensive background for mental illness, and she was recently treated for bipolar disorder.
Is it too much to call this an attempted suicide by cop, or?
Yeah, the question is, was it attempted suicide by cop? Let's just look at the facts that we had. The fact is, she was trying to kill herself. Very, very severe lacerations to her wrist. She charges an armed deputy with a knife. Was she trying to get the deputy to shoot her? Was she actually trying to stab the deputy? Certainly he wouldn't have known that, and we don't know her state of mind. But if you put 2 and 2 together, it certainly could lead to at least a reasonable conjecture that she was trying to force the deputy to shoot her.
If she survives, what kind of services are going to be offered her? I mean, is she facing a crime, or is this more of like a Baker Act type situation?
Yeah. What charges does she face if she survives? Technically, you have an aggravated assault. She's charging a deputy with a knife. Clearly, she's a mentally ill person. We would never charge her with a crime. So Lord willing, she survives and comes out of surgery, and she begins the process physically of healing, and then we'll do the best we can. We have a mental health response unit. We'll turn it over to them, and we'll do the best we can to follow up. Look, this was the 4th. Had she not charged our deputy and been shot, this would have been our 4th Baker Act today alone. This is a very, very common occurrence in modern day America. We get them around the clock. So our deputies are facing this day in and day out. People with mental illness trying to do harm to themselves. We do the best we can. And then sometimes it ends in tragedy like this.
No, it's okay.
So she's from Michigan, but is she living in Jensen Beach?
She is from Michigan, and she commutes back and forth. There's some kind of family dynamic. I don't have all the details, not totally relevant right now, but she does come back and forth between Michigan and here.
Sheriff, I may have missed this, but how did the deputies initially get behind her vehicle and end up here? Were they driving on Skyline or Jensen Beach Boulevard, or how long had they been behind her, I guess?
Will's question was, how long were the deputies behind her? Actually, she was parked here.
Oh, she was parked here?
Yeah,
Okay,
and she was parked here, and this is where the dispatch tracking told the deputies. We knew that the person who had hung up on us on the 911 call would be here in this area. Okay. And the deputy found it. At the time he finds it, he realizes not only is this the vehicle that we're looking for on the 911 hang-up, it's also the vehicle that had been boloed earlier in the day for a missing and endangered adult.
Just parked here?
Just parked here. Correct.
The one deputy is on administrative leave, or is the other deputy on administrative leave as well?
Yeah, our question is the one deputy on administrative leave or both? And it's only the one. The other one's just a witness.
Only one deputy fired the weapon?
Only one deputy fired the weapon, that's correct. Only one deputy.
And how is he doing?
The deputy who fired the weapon, he was visibly upset. I mean, none of us want to shoot anybody. But certainly none of us want to shoot somebody who is mentally ill and just needs help. But at the end of the day, the deputy has to go home. And that's the hardest thing we do. We choose, we have to make that choice. You know, in a life and death situation, you have to do what you have to do.
You said this is the fourth big garage today alone. Is that something that you're seeing a rise of?
Yeah, the question is, because this was the fourth Baker Act of the day, and your question is there a rise? There's a huge rise. This is our modern dilemma, not only here, but we hear it from people in our industry all over. Mental illness is the call of the day, and this is what we do.
What's the next steps for you in this investigation?
The question is the next step. We have some very sophisticated crime scene equipment here. We'll document everything. We've taken overhead pictures. The state attorney's office is conducting a parallel investigation with us. They have their investigators here. We'll continue. We'll be here for some time collecting evidence, making sure we have everything. We have to check the area for video cameras. We have to make sure we haven't missed any witnesses. We are at the hospital with our female that was shot. So we'll finish the investigation here. At some point, our deputy that was involved in the shooting will give us a statement. And finally, if she survives, there would be probably not much more for the state attorney to do. Of course, hopefully not, but if she expires, it will invariably be a grand jury.
Is there anything you can tell us about the deputy? I don't imagine you're identifying him at this point, but here's with the agency or what? Is he road patrol?
Our deputy is a uniformed deputy who actually was off duty, heading home. He's finished his shift. He was heading home in his car, in his uniform, and he did the right thing. He hears the call. He's right here, and he investigates, and he's the first one. He finds the vehicle parked. You see it over my right shoulder, and goes up. And he's wanting to render first aid, and the woman came out and went after him with a knife. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much.